Right, welcome. We've got another build for you, of course, and this one we're going to do a little combo of things you've already learned. So there really isn't anything new in this lesson. Just taking old things and combining them to make problems we had in the past easier. And one of the problems we had in the past is we were lighting up some LEDs, and we were having one of them go on once, if I recall, and then another one going on twice. And then they're going on 3 times. They end up with this really mile-long code. And if it weren't for copy and paste, it would have taken forever. So we're going to actually combine that build with some for loops, which we've just learned, and see if we can simplify all that. I also have a little different look here today. Got an extra camera here with all of our parts. I had the print down here because it seems like it focuses a little better with the print behind it. It's also a little overcast today, and that's been affecting how well I can focus. So you have to be a little patient with me. And so we'll need 3 LEDs and our 3 resistors, 330 ohms as usual. Over here, of course, we've got our Tinkercad. I'm going to kind of use both because this is what I've been using before. And we'll see if we can do both, and right behind it is we'll do our code. You get a lot of views here. This is going to be a little interesting this time around. Alright, so the first time around, let's have these match the colors I'm using. Let's start with the green one. And the long leg is over here, and on mine, let's see if I can flip that around. No, sorry, let's go all the way around here. Round and round we go. I just wanted to, well, we'll just leave it the way it is. Let's put our yellow one, not our yellow one, our green one right there. Let's build one. In fact, I'm kind of thinking and doing at the same time. Let's build one little piece of this circuit, code it, show you how that little structure works, and then add the other 2. So I'm going to work on this end just so it's closer to my Arduino, and I'll pull the resistor out. Let's throw this one on. Oh, I can see a few problems with showing you this and showing you the actual build at the same time. They're not going to be identical, but I guess that's probably good to see the different variations of how to build something and still have it work properly. Let's at least though switch this to 330, because a 330 ohm resistor should be orange, black. We haven't gone over what the colors stand for, but each one stands for a number. So orange is, it turns out, is a 3. So 2 oranges are 3, 3. And on the build itself, so if I'm matching this, I'm going to move these out of the way and do it off to the side here. It's not going to be exact. So I'm going to go way over here. What's kind of upside down for me? That is backwards, upside down. This is going to be really strange. These various orientations. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, like I said, so let's stick with that plan. I'm just going to put it right there. But I'm going to head off this way, which is when I'm looking down is upside down. Is that going to be too weird for me? I'm sorry, just give me a moment here. First time through this, I'm going to be bold and move this around for me. Might help me out considerably. Alright, let's give that a try. And I'll move it back up to where it was on, I got the short leg. Now I've forgotten which sides. There's the short leg with the resistor. So, oh, we got a little tilt here going on. We'll get this going good. Alright. In fact, I have it like this in the screen. Another little weird glitch. I just put it like that for the moment. And take one of my resistors here, put it here, and I'm going to run it all the way over to the negative rel there. Should be 333. If not, I can always grab one of these like I showed you in class, one of these multimeters, and we can set it on ohms. It's on ohms there, and I can take my resistor and just use my little probes and touch each end with it and test it. Having the resistors that are blue though, they are really hard to see, but that looks like orange, orange, black, so it looks good. And let's do the same thing up here for those who like this view. What I did is I took that. Actually, I haven't done this part yet. All I did is took my resistor there, and so let's catch up and do see if I got a green one here. Keep all these green. I'm going to go this side and send it to, say, number 2. This will be my signal. I'm going to go to my LED, and to complete the loop, I'm going to need one more wire. I'm going to put it over here. Everything in that along that blue line is in common. Sticking my finger is kind of being a pain with the focus, but there we go. So now I've got a nice loop. We're going to send some information out of pin 2. It's going to come across here, so we need to make sure in our code we do the pin mode output. It's going to go across into my LED. I've got to check my LED, make sure the long leg is on the positive side where my pin is. So that looks good. I don't know how you can see that, but and then we'll push this guy over a little bit. It's in the same row as my resistor coming across. My resistor, of course, goes into this row, and they're all in common, including all the way over here to this wire, which then loops around and heads into ground. So I got a complete loop. Looks fabulous. Let's finish it off up here, what it would look like. Alright, on the Tinkercad view. So what I did is I went to here, and then I went to the negative rail, and then I did another wire from here to ground, and then I did a wire from here over to pin 2. Fabulous. Alright, so let's pause here. I'm going to move this out of the way, just right behind me. Actually, if I type, it'll probably just disappear. But we can bring it back. Yep, and there it goes. I could do a split for that, but let's just go with the got right now. There's nothing I need to see on the serial monitor. So let's not open that. We do need to tell the Arduino that we're going to be sending information out of pin 3. So let's start with that. Work our mind away. I'm using my mind. I'm working my way through what I want to have this light do, which is to flash on and off, and we're going to add some LEDs with it. We're going to use for loops. So let's call it pin 3, and we want it to be an output. So that looks great. We'll be adding some other pins later, but let's just do one at a time. And then we're going to have our loop within a loop. We need to declare some variable and have it do something in our loop. We're going to use X, and let's start off with 0 for right now, semicolon in between each one. Let's move that out of the way. So we got to tell it what X is. It's an integer. We're going to do some counting. Each time we count, we're going to have the LED flash on and off. So now we got our little true false statement, some Boolean logic here. We want it to, if it stays true, it's going to stay in our loop. So let's have it loop like, now the sky's the limit. Before we did 1 time for one LED, 2 for the other, 3 for the other one. And that took a lot of lines of code. Now we can have it go on and off 100 times, and it's not going to, we just change one number. But let's be a little conservative and do like 3 times. So let's say if X is less than or equal to 3, and let's, the standard stuff right here, plus 1. Whoop, we don't want that. We want some brackets here to put in what we want it to do while it's looping. One more little trick while I'm thinking about it. X plus 1, if you want to be tricky. It look really cool. You can put some pluses here, and that automatically increments x up by 1. But we're going to do the old-fashioned way because it's for clarity, and do x plus 1. You can try that on your own and see if it works. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to go on and off. Digital write, we know that. We've used this a lot. What are the parameters for digital write? Can you remember? We got to send a high-low to that LED, so we need to know what pin that LED is on, and we chose pin 3. Now we've used pin 3 twice here, so I could declare a variable and call it pin 3 or something like that. That would probably be good practice since I'm using it over and over again, but I think this time around what I mean by that is I could do like integer pin. Actually, what I want to do is like, I'll do like maybe green pin. I've already got this started. Now I'm sucked into this, so let's keep going with it. Green pin equals 3. Then I'm going to go back and do green pin. This is probably better practice since we're using it multiple times. If I was only referencing to that pin one time, I'd just throw 3 in there and I wouldn't worry about it. So that looks good, and we're in 3. Actually, I don't think I'm in 3. I think I'm actually in 2. Now look really closely. It starts out at 0. I'm looking down here, and I've got a pin here, a spot for something, and a spot for something, and then my wire. And we actually start on 0, so I need to switch this to a 2. Now it's switched everywhere. So this word I made up, green pin, I tell my program what it means. It's an integer. So every time it sees it, it doesn't freak out. It says, hey, I know what that is. That's an integer, right? And it's assigned to 2. It's going to equal 2. All right, now we want to go hi, back into familiar territory here. And then we'll delay. Let's not worry too much about the delay. Let's just keep it really simple. Let's just do 500 for everything. And since we're doing 500 for everything, it would be easier to type in 500 every time or put some other value up here. Well, we might want to change it. Let's just call it something really simple. Let's just do, I'm writing time. See, I gotta be careful what I write in because it knows what time is because it changed color. Let's just do pin T. Can we get away with that? Pin time, or now I spent all this time thinking about what variable to use. I should just typed in 500 and I would have been fine. Let's just go back. No, I wouldn't do this. I feel like I might want to change that later. Let's do pin T it is. The pin time. So let's make that 500 for now. Alright. Pin T down here. Okay, now we want to go off, of course, so we're going to digital write this to the green pin, and we want to be low this time. That looks good. Delay. I could make it separate. I don't want to fuss around with the times too much. Let's just make this simple here. Now, if I upload this, it won't even know that I'm in a for loop. It'll seem like I'm in a void loop. Other than, yeah, I need something outside of the loop to show me or tell me that, hey, you're out of the loop. So let's put in a little delay of like 5 seconds to verify that yes, I jumped out of the loop and I'm not going to flash anymore. Because the last thing I did was turn it off. I went green pin low. And we're going to wait 5 seconds. Before we go back to the top of the loop, get stuck in the for loop 3 times. Okay, let's give it a try. If got any weird things happen, we'll take a look at them. Let's take a look at tools. We're on COM19, that looks great. It knew what board I was on. Automatically found those. So I'm already plugged in to the computer. And let's see what we get. Oh, we got an error. Oh, a little spelling error. Didn't even notice that. Notice it's in black, and what it recognizes as a statement that it knows. It changes color. So I should have noticed a change in color, but I didn't. Let's try it again. Errors are good though. If I were really clever, I would have built-in errors and then say, whoops, what did I do wrong? And then have you fix them. Alright, it's done uploading, and our light is not doing anything. I wasn't even paying attention. Maybe we're on our 5-second break here. Let's just give it a little longer. Well, this will be fun. We got some little troubleshooting to go here. So what should we do? Should we check our circuit to see if it's actually working properly? I think we should start with that. So now I didn't actually intend this error to occur. Let's pull this out and move it over to 5 volts. Our light goes on, so we know our circuit is fabulous. Put that back into 2. We are definitely in 2. So we've got a 2 up here. What I could do, I have a funny feeling I think it's right here, but let's say I don't know that. I'm going to get rid of some of my code here. I'm just going to turn these into comments, and it's just going to look at the for loop, not the for loop, it's going to look at the void loop, and it's going to turn this thing on, then off, and it's going to wait 5 seconds. So let's upload that. Whoop, hold on, now I'm looking down and it's flashing. Too many things to look at. That's okay. I'd be curious to see why it was flashing all of a sudden. What did I do? Now it's just going to go on. Wait 5 seconds. Go on, wait 5 seconds. So let's get rid of this. So everything in our code is great. Not having looked down, and I just happened to notice that it was actually flashing on and off before I changed the code up here. So we know that having gotten rid of this, everything looks great, but let's go back and get rid of everything that we commented out and re-upload it. Start from scratch, basically. There we go. Five-second wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we got a 4 in there. Okay, it's flashing. I'm looking right at the LED here, and we got 4 flashes. Excellent. Now I wanted it to go 3 times. So why are we going 4 times? Well, it turns out that now I'm staring at this, we have x equals 0. We're going to start out at 0 the first time around, and then we're going to add a 1 to that, go through the loop, add another 1 to that, go through the loop, and so on, all the way up to 3. So we're going to be counting 0, 1, 2, 3. So that is 4 times we're going to go on and off. So we can fix that. I'm sure you've already have an idea of how to fix that. We could reduce this down to 2, or we could increase this to 1. Let's send this up one more time so we have exactly what we were set out to do here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, off for 5 seconds. That looks fabulous. Alright, we're doing a for loop. So now what we're going to do is add 2 other LEDs, and we're going to have them flash on and off. We'll do it more than 3. I don't know, we'll just pick some value. Remember the last time we did this, not having the for loop, we would have had to have copied this 3 times, copy and pasted 3 times. if we all suddenly want to do this 10 times, for example, and let's speed this up a little bit. Let's change our delay. See, it's cool to have global variables. So we change them up here, and then it's changed everywhere else. Now I can have it go 10 times. Just playing around here for a minute, which is always good. See, 10 times. I'm not going to make sure they're exactly 10, but 5-second delay there, 10 times. If we had to do this without the for loop 10 times, we would have to copy and paste this thing 10 times. Not, well, I don't know, that would take too long, but now this is where we're going to be getting a little more impractical, because we want to add in the other loops for our other two LEDs. So let's go back to our build. So let's throw Tinkercad back up here. There you go. And let's add a red LED. I'm going to push this thing over. I'm going to have the short leg off to the right. We're going to ground the other side. I don't have all the good wire colors I need right here. None of them are black. So I'm going to use what I did last time, my little resistor, to go from here all the way over to my little ground rail. Since I'm hooking it right into this blue, everything along that blue rail, everything along this blue rail right here, they're all connected all the way down. So once I come into here, it'll go into this black wire and then head on into ground. So that saves me some wires. Now I just need a little signal wire, and I'm going to use a red one. So let's put that into red, and let's put this right up next to number 3. That looks fabulous. And why don't we go ahead and complete the build. I got a clear one. Do I want to use a clear one? Do I have any other colors? Let's see if I got a blue one. I got a yellow one. What do we do? Let's use that color. Why not? And we needed our resistor so we don't overload our LED and break it. So we're going to run it across the ground. Let's pull this out, make sure we've got it in the right way. Our LED is a long leg, short leg. Let's put it back in like that, because we want the positive to go to our pin. That's going to give us the instructions for turning on and off. I do not have a clear wire. Let's just use yellow. Yellow it is. There we go. And make this thing number if it'll go in there. What's wrong with the tip of that thing? Oh, we got a little bend on there. I'm going to pull that one out. Maybe I'll just chuck that one. And let's find another wire. Let's go one giant long yellow wire. Let's just not worry about it. I have a blue one though. That's short. Let's do blue. We don't need to color code these, but I'm just doing it. Oh, no, maybe it wasn't that wire going in there. It's just hard to go in there. So let's skip it. We're going to do a little skip. We're going to go to 5. Maybe something broke off into that pin. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I hope you can see that really well. Let's switch over to the Tinkercad, and let's put those wires in. The LEDs first. This one is our red. Next one over. This one is our clear. Do I have a clear one? White. We'll have to do. We need some more resistors. You're not at the exact same spot, but that's alright. The 330, so we can get a nice consistent color bands on there. In case one of you actually looked up color bands, you'll see the right ones every time, the orange. Alright, there we go. Let's finish this off with some wires off to ground. That looks fabulous. The red pin we sent off to 3, and this guy we had some difficulty going into 4, so we're going to skip that one and go to 5. Alright, that looks good. Now let's get rid of this. Back to our code. And we're going to duplicate this twice. So do we want to copy and paste it twice and then fix it, or type it from scratch? I think we should copy and paste it and just fix it. So here's the first one. We don't want green pin in there anymore though. So let's go back to the top here and do, that is red pin. And that was in number 3. So we need to change these to red. Red pin. Red pin. The pin time, let's just leave that alone. We can leave these as X. We don't need a set, we don't need to use Y. So let's just leave it as X. That looks fabulous. Let's change the flash times though. Let's do this one like 5. And I just feel like for some reason I want to actually change the pin time. I'm going to call it pin T so I don't have to type in so much. This is the red one, so I'm going to put a little R for red. Let's make this one 200. Just so it looks a little different. We don't want to, we end with semicolon. So T red, put a little R there, a little R there. So these will be 200, and these will be 100s each. We could pause and check it, check our work, which I would highly recommend. Let's go ahead and do that. Kind of as we build this, check our work. Only takes, what, 10 seconds, 15 seconds here. That one flashed. And we have nothing for our red. Now last time we didn't have anything. And I immediately started to change things. Let's go back. I'm glad we're having these little problems. This will be helpful. Let's go in here. And, oh, it is going on. You know what? It is actually going on. Come on, focus. You can't see it, but it is actually flashing. Maybe you can't see it. It is actually flashing. It's very dim. I'm actually glad this happened, because I can show you why that's happening. Why is it so dim? It turns out that I forgot to do something. Back up here, under pin mode, we forgot to tell it to have the red pin as an output. So let's try it again and let's see if that fixes the problem. Maybe you've noticed that. So that went on, what did we say, 5 times? I'm not really counting. It's waiting the 5 seconds, flashing at 10, flashing that one 5, doing our 5-second pause. Fabulous. This is going really, really well. And notice we're all controlling this with a tiny amount of code, which is the whole point. Get rid of all the labor. Now we can go in here and change whatever we want and have it, these LEDs dance and do whatever we want them to do. Maybe the only thing that we really can't do with our setup is we're kind of controlling one at a time. Now if we wanted to be really clever, we could put in a for loop inside of another loop. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's change it up just a little bit. Why not? Inside of this for loop, let's put the final for loop inside of it. This will be really cool. Let's do the copy and paste. I think it's still in the clipboard, so I'll just hit Control V, and there it is. Fascinating. So let's clean it up and then chat for a minute about how this is going to change things. Let's do, we have to tell, we're using the white one, so let's do the white pin equals, we skipped 4, so we go to 5. I actually remember that. When I skipped the pins, I thought for sure I was going to forget that. And while we're up here, let's do a separate time. I don't know if I'll actually use this, but let's call it W. And let's make this one a little longer. Let's go 300. Be bold and let's do 300. And let's jump down and modify this to white. And we just said TW, right? TW. So let's put W in there. Put W there, and not forget down here. If we forget and we didn't put white down here and we left it as green, then it would make sure the green one was low and the white one would stay on. Okay, so let's also change the number of times it goes on and off. Let's do like, I don't know, let's just go for 5 for right now. Okay, so this will be kind of cool. Again, with a void loop, it's still going to work its way down through this function. It's going to start up here and at this bracket and work its way down. And then as it encounters these loops, the for loop will get stuck in here for a while. Once this is false, it'll jump out. It'll get stuck in this giant for loop, which has another for loop inside of it. So if you can pause for a moment and think, what's going to happen with these lights, these LEDs? Should I explain it, or should we just take a look and see what happens? I say we just take a look and see what happens, and then I'll explain it. Well, let's upload this. We're going to have some cool lights go on while the other light changes slowly. All right, let's take a look. So work it's up in this part. This is going really fast. Maybe I should slow. That doesn't matter. So take a look. The red one goes on, and then the white one flashes 5 times, and the red one goes on once, and the white flashes 5 times, and then that keeps going until red actually did its 5th flash, and then we go back to our big delay. So I want to slow this down. I guess I don't need to match the what's actually happening live here. Let's ignore this just for a minute. I want to make really sure you understand what's happening. So we're going through this, and we're looping through here 10 times till this is false, and then we jump out. And then we're going to go down into here, and we're going to loop this entire thing 5 times. Because we're starting at 1, and we're going to go up to 5, counting by ones. So we're going to go through this entire thing 5 times. But while we're going through the entire thing, while we're working our way down here, we encounter another for loop. And this one is going to take over, and it's going to go to completion. Because we're going to get stuck in it until we show that this is false. So we're going to go through it 5 times. And before we jump out of it, when we jump out of it, we're still stuck. This little bracket right here, if I click on this one, the ending bracket is right here. So this for loop ends right there. We're not out. We can't escape yet. We're still stuck. So after we escape this one, we're still trapped in this. We haven't falsified it yet, so we got to go back to here and go through this again, and now it'll be a 2 instead of a 1. And then it'll get to here, and oh, okay, now I'm stuck in here 5 times. Goes back to here, increments x up to a 2, goes on and off, goes to this loop, gets stuck 5 times. Hope that makes sense. And finally, when we break out of this one and break out of this, we falsify this. We falsified it 5 times because we went through this loop 5 times. And we finally break out of this one, then we go to our delay. And then we never escape our void loop here. We end up going right back to the top and doing the green loops. So think about that for a minute. If you don't quite get that, work your mind through that. Let's change it up just a little bit, which is kind of cool. We have some control up here we can do. I'm going to just do one quick change and we'll call it good. Basically, I am done. I'm just messing around here just for a moment. Got to play, right? This is what it's all about. So I like what green's doing really fast, and I like that white one, although I can't see it as well. Did I not do I did not do that again. Mr. Brower, what are you doing? Okay, let's get that white one brighter. It's like screaming at me, make me brighter. Can't see very well. Alright, let's slowly fix that, and let's change it up a little bit. Let's say, I haven't uploaded this yet, so it's still going to be dim, but let's say we want to have this go on, probably since we're stuck inside that one, maybe we want this to go on really fast. And this one to be a little slower. And this one to be probably the longest one of all. Well, let's go like a 4. Although that might seem too long. Now we're up close to half a second. Let's just throw that back down to 2. And I don't know how many times to do it. Let's just do like 3 each. So 3 times before we jump out and back into this one. Let's give that a try. You're welcome to set this up whatever you would like. I'd encourage you to do like maybe a little mental problem and see if you can figure out how to get it, the LED to do this. Alright, so there we go. It's going once. The other one goes, does its little 3, and then back to the other one. It's nice and bright because I put the pin mode in there. Our 5-second delay. Back to start. Does its little flashing. We jump down. Flash the red one once, and then we do the other one a few times. Back to red. Back and forth. Now if you're really stuck, I guess you could slow these LEDs down and then literally follow your way through the code. And in real time, well, that's pretty cool. In real time, you could follow your way through here. You know, stretch these out to maybe like half a second each, and make these like that. Maybe even do this one like maybe a 7. One last time here. And you could follow your way through on this code and say, all right, we just go into that once, then twice, then 3, and so on. And then we're going to jump our way down to here. All right, well, maybe what you could do on your own. So I want to end this video. I don't want any of them to be over 30 minutes. I think this one probably is by now. See if you, why not take a moment and stick this for loop inside of this one. So we got a for loop in a, we got a for loop and a for loop and a for loop. So you'll take this and put another for loop inside of it. Really mess this thing up. And of course you'll have to change, actually it's green, you could just try that. I want you to try this off in your off. We're here for the next 30 minutes playing around if I don't stop. So please try some different things. Mess around with this, change numbers around, and to see what happens. So alright, that is it. Hope you enjoyed that. I think the camera is really cool. Fabulous addition to this. We'll keep using it. This will be the kind of the new layout. Alright, till next time, enjoy, do some make some sketches, do some code, do some builds. We'll see you later.